two strings in a van, and they ran as fast. Okay, so here, given two strings, we want to see if they contain a common substring. Um, and so I guess the first thing to note here, um, and this is sort of something that took me longer than I would like to admit to realize, is that the only thing you need to check here is if these two strings contain any one character, because it says determine if a string contains a common substring, and a substring obviously may be as small as one character, but if there is a substring that is more than one character, then you just take the first character of that if there is a common substring that is more than one character in length, you just take the first character of that substring, and that's a substring which is also common. So all you need to look for is see if there are any characters which are common among these two strings. And so that makes this, if you were going to try to do this by looking at every single substring, you're doing way too much work. It's like the time complexity becomes much larger, because instead of looking at the number of, and instead of looking at a set that's the size of the length of the string, you're looking at a set whose size is the power set of the length of the string, and that grows really quickly, like very, very, very quickly. But anyways, so let's see here. The first thing that we're going to do is, so we want to look up, we want to see if the characters in one string appear in the other string. So we sort of want to know which string is bigger. Is that necessary? No, I suppose it isn't. No, it's not necessary. All right, so let's not do that. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to obtain the letters of both S1 and S2. So we're going to have S1 sub be set S1. So this is a function that I learned about or came across for this specific code. So let's go ahead and print. Let's go ahead and print S1 and print S1 sub just to see what this does. And so I guess S1 sub, I could come up with something better. So hello, and it turns it into a collection of all the unique letters in hello. So that is really useful here. And this isn't, and so then basically we need to, okay, so let's get these two things for both strings, and then see if there are any common characters. Let's take every character in one and look it up in the other. So this ends up being very quick to do, because S1 gets rid of duplicates and stuff, which is, we see these strings are like, can be super large, so almost all of them are going to be duplicates. Not in the measure theory sense, but in the, normal language. So I guess S1 sub, I guess we're not really looking at all the subsets, so let's call it chars for characters. Obtain the letters, or S1 letters. Sure, let's do that. Okay, and then S2 letters is going to be set S2, and then we're going to check if there is a common letter. All right, so substring, our default is going to be that there are no common letters. And then for each letter in S1 letters, we're going to see if this letter is also in S2 letters. And if so, then we're going to change substring to yes, which because in this case, there is a substring which is common. And then also we can just break here since if there is if we find a substring, we're done. So with this and the previous exercise, there is this sort of like you need to figure out, well, you don't need to, but for my purposes for writing this, what I did was I tried to figure out, should the default be no or should the default be yes? And then whatever the default is, once you hit a criteria for it being the other one, you just stop running the code. So that's why I set it up like this, because as soon as you find a match, you're good and you know that there is a substring and you can stop running. All right, and then we return substring. One other thing, talking about this exercise and the last one, in this exercise, you need to use return instead of print at the end. In the previous exercise, you need to use print instead of return. And I really don't know why you need one versus the other. And honestly, I would just, for these exercises, just try one, run the test cases. If it doesn't work, try the other. All right, so I did before think there was something that you could do with S1 and S2, like possibly switching them to determine which one is the larger one. And that could possibly speed up the code. But now I don't think that's necessary, so let's see. So let's run the code and see what happens. Yeah, it seems to work. And then we go ahead and submit the code, and we're good. So yeah, again, this runs really fast. And honestly, like, this isn't really like even a dictionary problem, because you don't really need a dictionary. You just need, well, yeah, you just need some sort of list that you can search through really quickly. And that's what these set functions do. So basically, this exercise is like, if you know that this function set exists, then you're good to go. If not, then it's going to be really difficult for you. And I don't know. I'm sure there is a way to do this without using the function set. It's just certainly going to take longer than this. But anyways, so long as you know how the function set works, you're able to go ahead and set this up without too much difficulty. And here's your solution.